Canada was quick to retaliate after President Trump's tariffs went into effect.
I want to start with Donald Trump's tariffs, what he said in his joint address last night, just a little more than 24 hours ago.
Tariffs, it's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited.
So excited. Tariffs are going to help the auto industry so much. He knew it wasn't true then. We had already heard from Ford CEO saying it was going to blow a hole in the industry. And here we are 24 later, exemption time.
This is the kind of news that turns markets upside down overnight. No one saw it coming, and yet here we are. Canada just dropped a trade bombshell, and Tesla is right in the middle of the blast zone. What started as a routine trade dispute has now spiraled into a full-blown crisis, and the consequences could be devastating for Elon Musk's electric empire. And things are bound to take a shocking turn because this isn't just about Tesla. This could trigger a domino effect that shakes the entire American auto industry.
The press secretary said during this month, what these automakers can do is sort of re-rack their manufacturing so they can start shifting things that happen in Canada and Mexico to the United States. Like, let's get real. There are not empty factories owned by Ford and GM ready to produce certain parts with auto workers ready to do it. Like, this isn't even possible. What are they talking about?
It all began with the United States slapping a 25% tariff on Canadian steel and aluminum under the Trump administration. The goal? To protect American manufacturing and bring production back home. But here's the problem. Tariffs cut both ways. You punch your trade partner, they punch back. And Canada didn't just punch back. They went for a direct hit on industries the U.S. can't afford to lose. They responded with their own tariffs, targeting a carefully selected list of U.S. goods. And not just any goods. These were products designed to hit major American industries where it hurt most.
Today, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick hinted the U.S. may look to reach an agreement to lower tariffs with both Canada and Mexico. CBS News' Lana Zach is in Windsor, Ontario, with more.
Hi there. Consumers are going to become acutely aware of how intertwined the U.S. and Canadian economies are, particularly when it comes to manufacturing. I'm here on the factory floor of Laval International. That's why I have these safety glasses on. And I spoke with the CEO, Jonathan Azzopardi, who told me that things cross back and forth from his shop to his American suppliers multiple times, and explained why that added up.
And here's the crazy part. Tesla ended up taking one of the biggest blows. At first glance, Tesla seems like an odd target. It's an American success story, leading the charge into the future of clean energy and electric vehicles. But dig a little deeper and you'll see why this is a nightmare scenario for Musk and his company. Tesla's vehicles rely heavily on Canadian-sourced aluminum and nickel, two of the most crucial materials in electric vehicle production. That sleek, lightweight Model 3, it doesn't happen without aluminum from Canada. The cutting-edge lithium-ion batteries that power Tesla's entire fleet, they depend on nickel, another resource Canada supplies in massive amounts.
I will say it took longer this time to walk back the tariffs than it did last time. I mean, if you remember, like just a month ago, people are having a hard time keeping track. Early February, he said on like a Saturday he was going to put them in place on Tuesday, and then by Monday mid-morning they were called off. During his first term, he had threatened to put tariffs on Mexico. Then a few weeks before those were supposed to go into effect, he called them off. I mean, if you're starting to see a pattern, so am I, about how these tariffs work. But I mean, the one thing that does remain consistent is this administration continues to talk about tariffs in one form or another.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, here's where things take a brutal turn. Canada's new tariffs have jacked up the price of these raw materials overnight. Every shipment of aluminum and nickel Tesla imports is now subject to massive additional costs. And the result? Tesla's production costs are soaring, and that means higher prices for consumers, something no automaker wants, especially at a time when competition in the EV market is getting fiercer by the day.
Come from companies that are U.S. owned. You look at a company like Walmart, 80% of the products that fill its shelves come from Mexico. And all of these gentlemen were completely dumbfounded as to why Trump was pursuing this, because they don't see it as a trading relationship. It actually isn't a trading relationship like we have with China. It is this deeply intertwined production partnership. And it's up and down the supply chain on automobiles. It's in electronics, agriculture. You can just go on down the line. And Trump is simply shooting the U.S. economy in the foot.
If you think this is just about Tesla paying more for materials, think again. The ripple effects of these tariffs are spreading fast, and they're about to make Tesla's life a whole lot harder. Tesla vehicles exported to Canada are now significantly more expensive. We're not talking about a small bump in price, we're talking thousands of dollars added to every single car.
Integrated with Canada. It is not only our largest trading partner, but also certain main products such as lobster and blueberries are often processed in Canada and then come back into the United States.
Now put yourself in the shoes of a Canadian buyer. You've been eyeing that Tesla Model 3, excited to make the switch to electric. You've done your research, you've budgeted for it, and you're ready to place your order. But then you check the price and suddenly your dream car is out of reach.
The Prime Minister meeting with European allies in Brussels as they all face growing threats from Donald Trump.
The story between the European Union and Canada, it is the story of good allies and it is the story of trusted friends. And trust is very much needed in an unpredictable world.
Trudeau's talks included the mutual benefits of trade.
Trade agreements are clearly better than trade tariffs.
Along with tariff threats, Trump has mused about annexing Canada.
And here's the part Tesla really doesn't want to hear. When that happens, buyers start looking at alternatives. Because Tesla isn't the only game in town anymore. Ford's Mustang Mach-E, Rivian's electric trucks, and even emerging European and Chinese EV brands are waiting in the wings, ready to scoop up Tesla's lost customers. And just when you thought Tesla's problems couldn't get worse, let's talk about the bigger nightmare looming over the company's head. Tesla's massive production facility in Nevada, the legendary Gigafactory, has been a key part of the company's success. But here's the catch. It relies heavily on Canadian raw materials to keep things running smoothly.
Tell us more about this story. What do we know?
Yeah, it's hard to say how much those tariffs will eventually be. Canada is said to be just starting public consultations on these tariffs now, and there's strong pressure on Prime Minister Trudeau to really match those tariffs that has been introduced by the Biden administration of upwards of 100%. The EU, of course, has also imposed tariffs of up to 48%. There is new research that has came out from an American think tank saying that China has provided over $200 billion in support to its domestic EV sector over the past 15 years. But to be fair, though, those support per vehicle has come down drastically over the years to just under $5,000 per vehicle last year. That's still below what the U.S. offers, $7,500 in rebates for U.S. consumers on eligible vehicles under the Inflation Reduction Act.
If Tesla is suddenly paying a fortune for aluminum and nickel, it's not just the cars getting more expensive, it's the entire production line slowing down. And here's the truly terrifying part for Tesla employees. If costs keep rising, job cuts could be next. If demand for Tesla's Canadian exports drops, there's no reason to keep production levels high. And if production slows down, that means layoff. And not just at Tesla, the entire supply chain is at risk. Batteries, the lifeblood of every electric vehicle. And here's the thing. Canada is a key global supplier of nickel, cobalt, and other battery minerals. If these tariffs remain in place, Tesla's entire supply chain for batteries could be thrown into disarray.
Drastically over the years to just under $5,000 per vehicle last year. That's still below what the U.S. offers, $7,500 in rebates for U.S. consumers on eligible vehicles under the Inflation Reduction Act. But in Canada, the domestic auto sector is is calling for steep tariffs. They say that Canada cannot sit on the sidelines here because you have that review of the FTA coming up, the FTA between Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. We know Canada's auto industry is very tightly integrated with the U.S. sector as well. They sell finished products and parts to the U.S. By far, most of their exports are going to the U.S. So Prime Minister Trudeau will really have to balance between the U.S. and China now. And of course, there will be fears of retaliation from China as well.
Think about it. Every Model S, Model X, and Model Y needs a massive lithium-ion battery pack, but if those battery packs suddenly cost significantly more to make, Tesla has only two choices: eat the cost or pass it on to consumers.
Each plant is specifically tailored to make a very specific vehicle. If you want to change that, you need new equipment, you need to reconfigure the plant, you need additional workers, you need to find those workers, you need to train them, you need to, not to mention, pay them higher wages and healthcare than you do in Canada or Mexico, which is an added cost for companies. Despite the White House acting like this is something the companies can shift over in a few months, the auto industry plans out in years, like 4 years, 10 years, for where their production is going to be, what that's going to look like. If they're going to do this, not only is it going to take time, but it's also going to take a lot of money, a big investment. And
here's where things take a shocking turn. This could be the golden opportunity Tesla's competitors have been waiting for. Ford, GM, and even foreign automakers have been racing to catch up with Tesla's dominance in the EV market, but now Tesla is suddenly at a massive disadvantage. While Musk struggles with rising costs, his rivals could swoop in with cheaper, tariff-free alternatives, making it even harder for Tesla to hold on to its market share. Now, if there's one thing we know about Elon Musk, it's that he doesn't go down without a fight. The big question now is, what's Tesla's next move? There are a few possible options. Tesla could take the hit and keep prices stable, but that would mean lower profits and angry investors. Or they could pass the cost on to consumers. This would keep profit margins intact, but it would risk pricing out Canadian buyers. Also, they could relocate manufacturing. Tesla could ramp up production at its gigafactory in Shanghai, or even consider building a new factory in Canada itself to bypass tariffs entirely.
US and China now, and of course, there will be fears of retaliation from China as well.
And, Min, this isn't the first set of tariffs that will be imposed on the Chinese EV sector. We've had it from the U.S., as you just spoke about, from EU as well. What sort of an impact could these proposed Canadian tariffs also have on Chinese EVs?
So the short-term impact is not likely to be great because Canada is still a very nascent market for Chinese EVs. Tesla, though, is going to be disproportionately affected because last year, Canada saw this five-fold surge in Chinese EVs. Most of that is really driven by Chinese-made Teslas. The Chinese companies like BYD, NIO, they don't have a huge presence in Canada just yet. But of course, the risk is that they'll be locked out of the market before they even make inroad into the country.
But there's another option Musk could take: go to war with Washington. Tesla could lobby aggressively for a resolution to the trade dispute, pressuring the U.S. government to back off on tariffs in exchange for a return to normal trade relations with Canada. But Washington isn't known for making fast decisions, and in the meantime, Tesla is bleeding money.
We saw last night at the State of the Union was Donald Trump saying, with all of his showmanship, tariffs are great. They make America great. They give us a strong economy. Well, if tariffs are great, then why are we providing exemptions for them? Think about it. I mean, if truly his economic theory is tariffs make America great, then why are we coming up with exemptions and changing our mind all the time? And it's because he doesn't actually know what he's doing. We've had this conversation before. Everyone knows this. If you want to reposition the domestic economy into a certain sector, tariffs can be a tool of that, one tool of a broader package. And in fact, you don't do the tariffs by presidential declaration. You typically would do it through a massive legislative package that recognizes we want to turn the U.S. economy in a certain direction.
But David,
that
we're
is
not even a manufacturing-based economy anymore. Decades and decades ago, right?
And just when you thought this couldn't get any crazier, the stock market is reacting in real time beyond the chart boards. Investors hate uncertainty, and right now, Tesla is surrounded by it. If the trade war drags on, we could see Tesla's stock price take a major hit, sending shockwaves through the tech and auto sectors alike, because this isn't just about one company. This is about a change in global trade. Canada is making it clear that it won't be bullied by U.S. tariffs, and its trade policies are now directly reshaping the future of American industries. And the real question is, can Tesla survive this storm? Please kindly share your thoughts in the comments below and help us spread this video by clicking on like and subscribe on your screen.